Before I became a storyteller, I was an elementary school teacher, 23 years. I'd like to share with you something that happened the first year that I taught first grade. Now that year I had this little girl in my room, delightful little girl, Becky was her name. Now right from the first day of school, Becky started to talk about her mother going to have this baby. She was so excited. Every day she'd talk about the baby. Well, about March, she came to school with the news that her mother was going to be going to the birthing center in Topeka to have this baby. Now, this was 32 years ago. I didn't know much about birthing centers back then. You know, it was new to Topeka. But I eventually found out that, mothers could go there to have their babies in a more home-like setting. The whole family could be there if they wanted to. A couple of weeks after that, on Becky's show and tell day, she came rushing into the room, had this big box. Miss Best, look what I have. Now, I need to tell you again, 32 years ago, before I was married, my name was Best, Miss Best. I, too, was young and innocent back then. Well, she took the lid off the box to reveal this big cloth doll, kind of like a rag doll. The doll was very pregnant. Now, this didn't bother me too much, but then Becky lifted the dress on the doll to reveal the doll's swollen belly, big swollen breasts. I stuffed that doll in the box with the lid on. Becky, honey, this is a very special doll. We need to put it up on the shelf till your show and tell time. Well, Becky was agreeable. And as she went to sit down, I began to think, what am I going to do? I was a beginning teacher. I didn't want phone calls from parents asking why I was showing anatomically correct dolls to the children. They didn't cover anything like this in college class. I was panicked. The flag salute, the lunch count, and then it was time for show and tell. Miss Best, may I go first? Sure, Becky, honey, come on up. I got the doll down from the shelf. Becky, could I hold the doll while you talk about it? I thought maybe I could keep the doll partway in the box so the kids couldn't get a good look at it. Well, sure, Miss Best. This is the doll I got from the birthing center. It teaches us all about how babies come into the world. Oh, that was lovely, Becky. I stuffed that doll back. Becky was too quick for me. Before I knew what had happened, she grabbed that doll, lifted the skirt, spread the legs apart, reached up into the doll, and pulled out a baby! The kids were impressed. We all watched as that baby swung in midair from its umbilical cord. Well, I grabbed that doll. I was going to stuff that thing back in the box, but I couldn't do it. I could not do it. It was the look on Becky's face. It was a look of somebody who has just learned about a miracle when you just don't stuff something like that back in a box. I let her bask in the glory of the moment. We all watched as she wrapped the umbilical cord around the baby and stuffed it back up in the doll. I was a little concerned about the questions that might be asked, but they were pretty bland. You going to hold the baby, Becky? Are you going to get to feed the baby? Stuff like that. That night when I went home, I waited for the phone calls from the angry parents, but none came. None came, not that night or the next night. On Becky's last day of show and tell, her mother brought the baby into the room, and then Becky sat at the front and, with her mother's help, held the baby and said, "I'd like y'all to meet my new baby brother. We call him Stevie." Well, I often think of that day, that baby doll day, and it helps me to remember to look at life through the eyes of a child. Thank you.